In today's video, I'm going to show you how to clean your sewing machine. Hi, I'm Kim Jamieson-Hirst of Chatterbox Quilts, and it's really important to clean your sewing machine frequently. Depending on how much sewing you do, it's hard to tell you how often, but it's always a good idea to, if you're sewing every day, to clean it at least once a week. And the reason you want to do this is, well, you want it to work at its peak efficiency, all right? A dirty machine is an unhappy machine. Unhappy machines don't give you good results. So to avoid issues, it just takes a few minutes to clean your sewing machine. So let's dive into how to do that. First thing I want to talk to you about is the tools you'll need. Again, you don't need much, and you probably already have them in your studio. I like to use some paint brushes, just inexpensive dollar store paint brushes. I have one out here. Don't need a very thick bristle on them at all. It's helpful to have a very thin base on them, and I'll explain why as we get into the cleaning. You also probably need the screwdriver that came with your sewing machine, some extra batting, tri-flow lubricant or sewing machine oil. The brush, if you had a little brush that came with your machine, is also very helpful for certain parts that we're going to clean. And you're going to be putting a new needle in your machine once you're done cleaning it, right? So I've got some of my Janome machine needles here that I will be installing one of them in the machine after I'm done cleaning it. Now, I am working with the Janome M7 today, but what I'm talking about will also apply to whatever sewing machine model that you have. You just might do things slightly different than what I do. So the first thing I've done is I've taken the needle and the foot off the machine, all right? That gives me the most area to work in without worrying about sticking myself on the needle, right? Never want to do that. Then I'm going to lock the machine out. You may want to turn off your machine. In my case, I'm locking it out because I need the machine on to remove the needle plate, which is what I'm going to do next. Okay, it's asked me to raise my needle bar first. There we go. All right. So I've got my needle plate up. I'm going to take it out and just place it aside for now. So this is the area that I really want to get in at, that bobbin area, right? So I'm going to take my bobbin out, put it elsewhere. And on this machine, this bobbin case holder also comes out. And we're going to do some cleaning here. So on this one here, I'm going to take my little paintbrush. I'm going to just clean around it. I could use my batting as well. I like to use my brush and get into all those little areas, these little crevices. Even a little bit of dust can cause issues. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to clean it all around here as well. And as I mentioned before, if I want to take my batting and wipe around that, I can do that too. All right, so it's looking pretty good. There's nothing caught in it, no stray threads or anything hanging out. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to put it down there. Now I'm going to dive into the bobbin area you see here. So I can get my brush in there, and I can get all these little bits and pieces of lint. And again, if there's any extra thread, you can see there that I've got some lint here. And I do clean my machine quite frequently, and yet there's still some lint, little bits of thread, linty thread, whatever, in there. All right, so we can get that all off there. And I can go into some other areas. Now I'm always careful when I go back into some of these areas back here because there are sensors, there are fuzz, there is little springs, there's all kinds of things. So I'm just carefully going around in there to pick up any of this extra fuzz, this lint that collects in my machine and may impede it performing at peak efficiency. All right, let's get back down in there. Make sure I have everything out of there. All right, so you notice I'm grabbing stuff off my brush constantly here. And just make sure that there's not very much anyway left. There are certain areas I can't get into, but I do my best, right? Okay, so we've got those all off. You can see what I've pulled out of that machine already. So that's surprising, isn't it? It's always surprising to me that there's stuff in there. And then I've got this brush that I got with the machine. It's got stiffer bristles on it. And this is really good to get in around the feed dog area. If there's any lint caught in there, it looks pretty good. I don't see really anything coming off there, but sometimes there is. It depends on what kind of fabric you're sewing with, right? All right, so we got that all out of there. Now, I mentioned having a thin tip on your paintbrush, and the reason I talk about that is because I want to use it as a tester. Okay, So what I'm doing, oh, there's one little thing here I missed. A little tiny bit of thread there. I want to take it and I want to stick it in the center here, okay? And I want to see if that is wet or not. Is it oily is really what it'll be. So I'm looking to see, is there oil coming off there? Not very much. And by the way, what you're seeing in the center there, that is not lint, okay? That is a wick. Do not pull it out. I get so many people asking about that. They think it's lint that's gotten packed down in the machine. No, it is not. It is a wick. It's there for a purpose. Don't take it out. If you take it out, go to your sewing machine repair person and ask them to put another one in for you because you kind of need it. All right, so I'm not really feeling much in there. So I'm going to take my tri-flow and I'm just going to put one drop, hopefully one drop. One drop. Oh, I missed. One drop. I think it's going in there. Okay, I can use my paintbrush and get it in there. There we go. Okay, so I've got a little bit on the edge there. So I will just get a little Kleenex, another helpful tool in the studio because I got this kind of outside. So I'm just going to wipe this off here. I just really want it in the wick area and I kind of missed my wick. Okay, so we'll clean that off there. All right. So the one thing you don't want to do is over oil your machine. Okay, there's a happy medium. Under oiling, it's too dry. It makes it work harder than it needs to. Over oiling it and it just gets to be a real mess inside. So you don't want to do that either. And you certainly don't want to put it in if it's not required, right? So I put that in the wick. When I take it off now, I'm going to get some moisture on the end of my little paintbrush. I can smell it and feel it. So I know that it's got enough oil in there for now. All right. So I've cleaned all in that area. That's great. The other thing I want to do is clean the needle bar. So I'm going to take my hand wheel, turn it towards me, and as you can see, my needle bar is coming down, all right? And this is where I'm going to take my batting. I'm just going to fold it over here and get the clean side and just kind of go down my needle bar. Here, there's some gunk on my needle bar as well. So I'm trying to get that off, being careful as I'm in there too. Lots of moving parts on these machines. You want to be careful. It's just that little area there. There we go. All right, that looks better. So there's gunk coming off my needle bar too. So I can move him back up again. All right, so that's really all I need to do to clean my sewing machine. The rest of the case, just use batting or, as I mentioned, a damp cloth to wipe off any marks you may have on it. But now we have to reassemble this area, right? So I'm going to take my bobbin case holder. And we always say like a yellow dot or blue dot or white dot bobbin case. They're not really dots, they're kind of triangles, but we call them that. You can see there's the little yellow triangle there. And I'm just going to place that down. It's going to match up with this little red mark that you can see there. There we go. And you just want to make sure it's nice and flat. Sometimes it takes a few minutes to get it in. Nice and flat, there'll be a little bit of wiggle room, but not very much. Then you know it's seated properly. Now I need to get my needle plate out again and put it in. It's just going to snap into place there. And I get some messages. There's always messages that come to me on the machine. And the next thing I need to do is, of course, install a new needle. So I'm using the blue tip needle, which is what I use for piecing. The flat part of the needle goes towards the back. And I'm just going to put it in there. Make sure it's all the way up and start tightening up my screw there. And then I always want to use my screwdriver and give it a little bit there, a little bit of a turn. Okay, to make sure it's seated properly in there. And then you can put on whatever foot you want to use. I am currently using the HP needle plate with my HP2 foot that comes with this machine. So I can use the AccuFeed Flex walking foot system with it. I like to use this combination when I'm piecing. And again, tighten. So now I've cleaned my machine. It's oiled, it's ready to go. It's got a new needle in. It's all set up for my next project. And I know that my machine is going to work at its peak efficiency because it's a clean machine, and a clean machine is a happy machine. Thanks for watching today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to share it with your quilting friends. And remember to subscribe so you'll be notified the next time I release a new video. And for more helpful quilting information, be sure to go to my website at www.chatterboxquilts.com.